Thank you so much.
Good. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Please be seated in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who mercifully intervened in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. We thank him for coming among us and raising up in our midst his messenger Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank Allah that they put their two hands and their two minds and their two hearts together to form one in our midst today that is without a doubt a divine teacher and guide for you and me. He is that developed model of what a human being's supposed to look like. He is that comforter, that spirit of truth. He is that one that will really get us safely across this lake of fire on his shoulders, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. And I'm talking about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. All praise due to Allah. It is in their holy and righteous names that I greet you, my sisters, my brothers, in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Of course, we come to you together this morning like you with a very heavy heart. Yes, sir. Deeply saddened but profoundly grateful for the life of a woman that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan described as the wind beneath his wings. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She is one that breathed life into him, breathed life into her family, gave life to a nation, and will give life to a world. We thank Allah and we salute Mother Farrakhan. All praise are due to Allah. Thank you. One of the things that we a lot of times seem to miss whenever emotions are high, especially when it comes to loss, is we forget the way the one that we've lost would want us to be. And even though grandmama, great-grandmother, mother, father, or a spouse might tell us that, look, whenever I go, I don't want no breaking down. Come on, go ahead. I don't want nobody laid out. I don't want a whole bunch of crying. I want it to be a celebration. I want you to go on with life, etc., etc. It seems like whenever that person is gone, we forget what their will would have been. Yes, sir. And I want you to know that it was not the will of Mother Khadija Farrakhan to see a believing community in grief. Come on, sir. It was not the will or the desire of her to see us crying and down and out. She did not want to see us in the corner of sorrow. And the minister said about himself, he says that he is saddened but not sorrowful. And that Allah has him in his arms. And that he can feel the strength of his love all around him. Yes, sir. So if the Messiah is like that, if the minister's like that, and if her will was for us to continue to give our life for what she gave her life for, yes, then we are not getting ready to have a Sunday morning pity party today. We are going to talk about the Asiatic mind that Mother Khadija Farrakhan in fact had, and worked her whole life to give a whole nation of people. All praise are due to Allah. So we are here on the heels of our graduation celebration for the great Asiatic Minds School of the Gods. Come on. Their name used to be Asiatic Minds, the online school, and they said, no, we're going to upgrade it and take online school away and call it what it is. It's the School of the Gods. Yes, sir. And that, all praise is due to Allah. And that is why the white man has never wanted you to come to the mosque and entertain the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. His schools and universities can give you a doctorate degree. His schools and universities can give you a bachelor's degree. You can go to his school and university and learn how to be an engineer, an architect, a pharmacist, even a doctor. But what the schools of the institutions of learning in this world cannot give you that Elijah Muhammad school can. They can make you into a technician. They can make you into a barber. They can make you a cosmetologist. They can make you a contractor, but they cannot make you what the teachings can make you. And that is a God. So this is the one and only school of thought that you can give your mind to, and you can leave and not just become a technician, but become a God in person. So they've always been afraid of you coming to put your mind into such a school like this. When the term Asiatic mind was put into the atmosphere as the subject, people, especially my brothers and sisters that call themselves conscious,
go ahead, Mom. Come on.
they began to comment and ask, why would you want us, the original African people?
Yeah. Come on.
Why you promoting an Asiatic mind? Here we go again.
Come on.
Another form of packaged self-hatred. Here we go again, another way of diminishing the great African consciousness. Well, breaking news for you, brother and sister, so-called conscious. You might be a little conscious, but you are still in the bed. Because if you are all the way awake, and you took your pajamas off, and you brushed your teeth, and washed your face, and went outside into this university, you will learn that the word Africa is not a name given by the black man, but the term Africa came from a white man by the name of Leo or Alexander Africanus. Yes, it is. The name Africa is as white as the name America. That's why you got to be careful running around trying to give yourself some new sophisticated label. I'm an African American. And you think you upgraded from being Negro. Or you upgraded from being a second-class citizen or a spook that sat by the door. You might even think you upgraded from being black. But the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, why should you identify yourself by some landmass when you are before there ever was a landmass? So to call yourself an African means that you are limited to the geographical location of Africa named after a white man. To call yourself an American would mean that you are limiting yourself to a geographical location named after another white man named Amerigo Vespucci. And to call yourself an African and an American mixed together is just to take on double white man names. No, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we're not black because we're cursed. We're black because we're first. And black is not a color, it is the essence from which all color comes from. All praise is due to Allah. So when you say black man and black woman, you're saying Asiatic. When you say black man and black woman, you're not saying color, you're saying the origin of all color. In fact, if you were to take all of the colors that are in your paint set and mix them all together, after you get finished mixing all the colors, it will go back to black. Why? Because black is the color that produced all of the other colors. So you're not diminishing yourself when you call yourself a black man. You're diminishing yourself when you call yourself a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, a Lithuanian, an African, a Jamaican. Hell, you're limiting yourself when you call yourself by some denomination or some tribal group. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we call ourselves by many names. Yes, we do. And they call us by many names. But your real name is God. That's your real name. The term Asiatic doesn't mean Vietnamese. It doesn't mean Chinese. It doesn't mean Japanese or Korean. The whole earth used to be called Asia. Go Google it today and look at the old maps in the early 19th century. And look at those maps in the 1800s and the early 1900s. And when you seen those maps, you had all of the land masses touching each other. And on the map, there was no such thing as a Europe or an America or an Africa. You had Eurasia. You had East Asia. You had West Asia. And then for that part now that they call the Middle East, you had the parts called the Lower Asias or Asia Minor. But at one time the whole earth was called Asia. So whenever Master Father Muhammad came and asked us who is the original man, and the answer that had to be given was not the African black man, not the Jamaican black man, not the Nigerian black man, but he said the original man is the Asiatic black man. Why Asiatic? Because you're saying you're not limited to just one continent. You are the first man and woman to walk every square inch of the 57,255,000 square miles of the land called Earth. That's where we're from. So Asiatic. When you say Asiatic, you're not saying country. You're not saying continent. You're not even saying race. When you say Asiatic, you are saying the ancient original that predates modern classification of racial groups. So Asiatic means original. Asiatic means first. Asiatic means from everywhere and everywhere from itself. Oh, you the Asiatic black man. And you are the maker. And not the renter, but the maker and the owner. You the cream of the planet Earth. You say, well, why would he put all them technical scientific terms and then slap this agricultural term in there and put cream of the planet Earth inside of there? After all that sophisticated deep science and historical fact, why he put cream? It's because all teachers use the known to describe the unknown. All great teachers take that which is tangible and convert the tangible into a teachable. At the time of the coming of Master Fard Muhammad, we used to drink real milk. You don't know nothing about real milk. That's right. When we came up in our teenage years, we used to sit on this metal can on the porch. We didn't know what it was. We thought it just was a little chair. It had Roberts or something on the side of it. But that can that we turned in the 80s into a chair on Big Mama's porch used to be where the milk used to go. And every couple of days the milkman would show up. And he would deliver fresh, cold milk.
Yes, sir.
Not in styrofoam. That's right. Not in cardboard. Not in some plastic jar. Oh, but Big Mama and them used to get their milk in the glass. Is that right? And because we might not be home, the milkman would take and open up that stainless steel box and stick the milk inside to preserve it. And when you picked up that glass jar of milk, you would see that it was clear white. And then as it got up to the top, there would be this thick layer of 4 inches of foam at the top. And if you was a child and you asked, Big Mama, well, what is that? Oh, baby, that's the cream. Because the cream always rises to the top. And in order cream to be taken from the top, it had to be integrated.
Go ahead, but no teacher.
With the what?
That's right.
And how did you integrate it? You had to shake it up. And the more you shook it up, you began to mix it in with the other lower parts of the milk. See, whenever you believe that Columbus discovered America, your mind has been shaken. When you believe that Adam and Eve were two white people in the garden, your mind has been shaken. When you believe that Jesus is this buttermilk complected, blonde-haired or brunette, blue-eyed or brown-eyed white boy, your mind has been shaken up. When you believe mystery God, your mind, when you believe it's a ghost, your mind is shook up. When you believe yourself to be a nigga that ain't nothing and never was nothing and never will be nothing, you got your mind shook up. And as long as the mind is shook up, we integrate with the lower parts. But if that cream or if that milk is left alone, the cream will always rise to the top. You the cream of the planet, you just need to be left alone. And we will rise back to the top. All praise is due to Allah.
Good teacher.
Well, in order for us to become an Asiatic black man, we first must have an Asiatic black mind.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right. Teach.
In the lesson, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the one answering the question.
That's right.
Master Father Muhammad, the teacher, is asking the question.
Right.
Yes, sir.
These 10 questions and answers by themselves,
Come on. Yes, sir.
if memorized, y'all ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Big point, internalized,
Come on.
Right.
will recalibrate your mind and turn you into an unstoppable man and woman.
Go ahead.
But it just can't be memorized and recited.
Yes, sir.
They have to be memorized and internalized. When something is internalized, it becomes a part of you, not a part of the book.
Go ahead now. Teach.
Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
This is where the Muslim world has gone wrong with the Quran.
That's right.
They say the Quran is a book that has been guarded and protected from its conception from tampering or being perverted. True.
Come on. That's right.
And out of respect, all Muslims should put their Holy Quran on the highest shelf in their house.
That's right.
Out of respect.
Yes, sir.
So you go into Muslims' homes and they'll have the Quran way up there.
That's right. Come on now. Go ahead. Let's look at it.
Top shelf.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you say, hey brother, can I see that? Hold on a minute. Wheel a chair out, a ladder, climb up.
That's right. Go ahead.
Is that right? And then, because it's on the top shelf, out of reach, they gotta blow it off.
Right.
Depending on how long it's been up there, it might be enough dust to make another man.
Teach what it is.
And then, crackle. Huh?
That's right. Wow.
Question. How much transformation inside the house of the people that live in a house is a book on top shelf gonna do?
Good question.
See, the law under which a thing comes into existence gives that thing its nature.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
In other words, however something is born, that's what the function of it is.
Right.
Well, if the Holy Quran in its original inception was not a book,
That's right. Go ahead.
but was revealed to the mind of a man,
Go ahead now.
If the law under which a thing comes into existence gives that thing its nature, if the first Holy Quran was written on the mind of a man, then the purpose of the Quran is not for it to be written on the paper of a book, but to be recorded on the minds of men.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? So the real highest shelf that the Quran needs to be is not the top shelf in the house built by man, but it's this body called the house built by God. And the highest shelf is the mind. This is where the Quran is supposed to be, if you really want to respect it. All praise is due to Allah.
Good teaching.
If there's an Asiatic mind, there must be some other kinds of minds. Did you know there was more than one mind?
Yes, sir.
We knew it, we just didn't do our own deduction and inference and reasoning to say why.
Right.
Have you ever said or heard someone say, if I had only been in my right mind, I'd not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, if you're there, after the fact, if I had only been in my right mind, then such and such wouldn't have happened. You're saying that you was in your wrong mind and produced a different result. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been somewhere and it didn't go like you thought it should go, and you said, if I had only listened to my first mind?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know it.
Well, if you didn't listen to your first mind, what mind did you listen to? It had to be another one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
There are more than one mind that can live inside of this mind.
Yes, sir.
And just a quick lesson. The skull is not the brain, and the brain is not the mind.
Yes, sir. Teach. Yes, sir. Teach.
The skull houses the brain.
Go ahead. Right.
Both of them are physical.
Right, sir. Right.
The mind is inside the brain.
Right. Teach.
It too is physical
Teach. Come on. Teach. Go ahead, brother.
and spiritual.
Yes, sir. You teach it now.
Because what makes up a mind are thoughts.
Right. Yes, sir.
Thoughts can be measured.
Right. Right. That's right.
Thoughts have weight.
Yeah, you teach it now.
Have you noticed that when you're thinking negative, it wears you out?
Yes, sir.
But when you're thinking positive, it lightens you up. Is this the truth?
Yes, sir.
So inside of the mind, when they took and measured thought, they found that thought was electrochemical, magnetic energy, fast moving fluid with an electrical charge that has power in it and also magnetic appeal. But the mind can be made up of different kinds of thought processes.
Yes, sir.
And whatever we think about the most is what wins.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Teach.
The highest mind is the mind of God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that, listen to this, beasts function off of appetite and desire. Man operates off of emotions. But God is the master of the process of reasoning.
Come on.
So the mind of God functions off of reasoning.
Yes, sir.
Mathematical thought process. It is calculating cause and effect.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on.
But the mind of a human being rationalizes and emotionalizes.
Right. Go ahead.
Feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead now.
The mind of the beast functions off of just appetite, desire. Then there's even a lower part in the animal kingdom than beast called the reptile. And reptiles, the only thing they're concerned with is sex, food, and shelter. All of these minds are in our mind. Among the Navajos, whenever they are taking the boy to man or girl to woman, what we called in Africa the rites of passage. R-I-T-E-S, rites. Meaning there's certain things that are required that you must prove you understand. If you're going to be called a man from a boy. There's certain things you have to prove you know and understand if you're going to wear the title of a woman and not a girl. See, we just throw parties based upon calendar years. Sweet 16. Hell, what makes it so sweet? You 18 now, you're 21 now, you finally grown. By whose definition?
Come on.
Just because somebody has existed doesn't mean that they have grown to be grown. According to the definition of being grown, you have to have grown. Right?
Come on.
You say, but he's 6'5". Yeah, that's a body. That ain't mine. So in the original way we operated before we were kidnapped, Caucasianized and westernized by this enemy, in order to go from boy to man or girl to woman, you had to prove to the elders that you had some wisdom.
Come on, sir. Go ahead.
Every person, male and female, had to prove by performing what they called an act of valor.
Yes, sir.
That you were not in possession of fear.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Teach her.
See, a fearful person is easily controlled.
Yes, right. Yes, sir.
A fearful person will be restricted.
That's right. That's right.
In fact, don't they have the saying that there's two natural commands that people experience whenever danger shows up? They call it what? Fight or flight. There's a third one though.
Come on, sir.
It's fight, flight, or freeze.
Man, teach.
Do y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
So if danger shows up, either I'm going to fight, I'm going to run, or I'm just going to freeze.
Man, come on.
So the rites of passage, they wanted to know that whenever danger showed up for the village, when danger showed up against the principles of what we stand for, whenever the Goths or the Visigoths or the nomads or the Vikings or the Anglo-Saxons showed up to try to invade Africa, they wanted to know that the soldiers were not going to freeze or run, but they were going to call on Allah God and fight with those who fight with them and fight to the death. So you couldn't be a boy and then a man unless you proved you had some courage. So they would make the boys sometime hunt a lion and kill it, bring it back, make girls walk across coals several hundred feet, 2,000 degrees to prove that they were not afraid.
Come on now. Yes, sir.
The other thing they did is they made sure that they, as a female, you had to prove that you understood what it took to be a mother and a wife. And as a man, you had to prove you knew what it meant to be a father and a husband.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you were not allowed to be called a man.
Man.
In fact, one of the sayings among the Contangas, they called them, and I'm paraphrasing, they would say to the ones that did not prove they knew what it meant to be a father or a mother, a husband or a wife, or didn't have the courage. And then the other lesson was they gave all of them twigs that represented themselves. Asked them to break it. They broke it easy. Then they gave them twigs that represented the whole group of the graduating class. Asked them to break it when they couldn't break it. The lesson was that when you're alone, you're easily defeated by an outside force. But when we're together in unity, there's no outside force that can break us. So the principle was you got to know how to be a father, a husband, a mother, a wife. You got to have some courage in your heart. And you got to live not for yourself, but for the good of the whole, and always remain united with your brothers and sisters. That's what it took to be called a man or a woman. I think we need to get back to that again. Because if we had all of that, we would be in good shape right now. What y'all think? Well, among the Native Americans, they had a similar thing. One of them was they would bring among the Navajos the young, and they would tell a story about the nature of man. And they would mention to the young brothers and sisters in a language they could understand the mind. They didn't tell them it was four, they just told them it was two minds. And they used this story. They say, inside of you, young brothers and sisters, there lives two wolves. Right. Come on. One's a good wolf and one's a bad wolf. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. And every day, these two wolves are fighting inside of your body. Go ahead. And the young would ask, well, grandfather, which one wins if they fight each other every day? And the grandfather would say, oh, that's easy. Whichever one you feed the most. Right. Come on. Go ahead. The word feed and nurture are synonyms. Right. To nurture means to feed according to the nature of. So if you're going to feed the good wolf, you got to feed it with that which is true, that which is honorable, that which is righteous. If you're going to feed the bad wolf, you got to feed it with that which is negative, that which is falsehood, that which is evil. So depending upon what you allow into the gates of the mind through the eyes, the ears, and the mouth, depending upon the kind of thoughts that you think throughout the day will determine which wolf you're feeding. Yes, sir. Or which mind you're cultivating. Yes, sir. So how do we determine whether or not we are in the Asiatic mind or the mind of God? Or whether we're operating on the reptile mind or from the beast mind or from the regular human mind? Question is, what motivates the decisions that we make? And how many of those decisions are rooted in the nature of the Asiatic God or the man or the beast or the reptile? And if all the things that I'm doing is based upon some sex, some food and shelter, I'm a reptile in human form. If everything's about appetite, lust, and desire, I'm a beast-minded man. If all I think about is the way I feel about things, if I'm just a little rational and emotional, then I'm a human thinking person. But if I'm operating on cause and effect, if I'm operating on high principles of morality, if I'm operating on that which is the master of the process of reasoning, I am not on the level of a reptile, a beast, or a regular human being. I am an Asiatic-minded black man, which will make you a makeup. I own that a crazy little thing there. Did you know that we were born in our right mind?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nobody want to bear witness to that. You see that? Born in our right mind, not my children. And my mama would say, not me. Do you know we had to be born in our right mind if the scripture says that we were born into sin? Right. And then shaped by iniquity. Right. Iniquity is sin and wrongdoing. Right. See, if we were already born sinners, as the Reverend preaches, no, that's not what the scripture says. Right. Right. Go back, Reverend, and look at Psalms and break down the words. The word sinner. When you put the suffix ER on it, you're saying it's a person that is the base word. To be born a sinner means that you were already, before you ever thought, spoke, or did anything, you were already wrong. How could you be already wrong and be in the image and likeness of God? How could you be born already wrong and still need to be shaped by the iniquity? See, the only reason why iniquity or sin needs to shape you like itself is if you're born other than it. We were born righteous. We were born pure. We were born holy thinkers. We were born in our right mind. In the Bible it says in 2 Timothy 1:7 that God did not create you in the spirit of timidity. We said in the drill, Muhammad don't raise no punks.
That's right.
No sissies, no faggots, and no chumps.
That's right. That's right.
Sisters say Muhammad don't raise nothing weak. Nothing fast, nothing loose, and nothing cheap.
Come on now. Come on now. Go ahead.
God does not make cowards.
Go ahead. Right. Go ahead.
God makes man the glory of God and made everything else a glory of God. He cannot put subordinate to man the ships and the seas and the sun and the moon and the stars, and as the Bible says, every creeping thing that crawls on the earth and everything that flies. He cannot put that all under man's authority and man be afraid of it. How you gonna rule what you're scared of? Well, if he gave us dominion over everything, then everything has to fear us, not us fear it. So we were not born timid. He said, no, God didn't create you in the spirit of timidity. He created you in the spirit of power. Come on. Love. And then another one says sound mind. Some translations say self-discipline. It ain't either or, it's both and. Because you can't have a sound mind unless you got some self-discipline. And if you got self-discipline, the product will be a sound mind. Only about half of y'all agree. That's all right. If God created us with a sound mind, depression is man-made. If God created us with a sound mind, anxiety is man-made.
Go ahead.
No, let me rewind it. If God created us with a sound mind, depression is white man-made. If God created us with a sound mind, anxiety is white man-made. Phobias are white man-made. Paranoia is white man-made. We were born into a world of sin, ruled by a new man.
That's right. Go ahead.
And the world that he brought us up in started shaping us
Right.
into these iniquities.
That's right. Go ahead.
The minister said it like this. He said, children do what's natural until they're taught what is normal.
That's right.
Whenever someone says normal, talking about moral, talking about what's right and what's good or even what's wrong. All they're talking about is whatever everybody is doing. Right. Spirit of power, love with mind, in likeness of God. If we are born in our the iniquity, this means that when we first came off the assembly line of the Lord of the worlds, we were closer to him then than we are now.
That's right. Go ahead.
It's gotten so bad that here Jesus is trying to teach people how to observe other people to know how to get into heaven. It would seem like that he would have told us
observe the grand sheikhs and the elders, the long bearded wise senior men and women.
Right.
Come on.
That's right.
But he said you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven
Go ahead.
except you come as a what? A what kind now? Little child. Why? Because the little child is closer to natural.
That's right. Go ahead.
The older person is close to normal. Natural is close to God. Normal is close to the world.
Right. Yes, sir. Go ahead. That's right.
Does this make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, one of the great blessings of parenting is not just what you can teach your children.
Right.
It's what your children can teach you.
Right.
Think about that. Observe them. I'm talking about little child. Now, as they get a little older, get a little more challenging.
Yes, sir.
But you make a mistake with your children, look how fast they forgive you.
Come on. Right. Teach on that real quick.
And for the record, you're not too big to apologize to your children.
That's right. That's right.
You know, we make mistakes. Is that right? There's emotional decisions that we make on our children based upon what other people have done.
Come on. That's right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And we might give them a word or a reprimand or even a physical chastisement that is 50% based on what they said or did, and it's 50% based off of what somebody else said or did to me. So if you apologize, look at how quick they are to forgive.
Yes, sir.
That's okay, mommy. I love you.
That's right.
And they hug you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But how do we treat each other?
Come on. Go ahead.
Some of us been having grudges against somebody for 20 years.
Come on now. Yes, sir. Teach. Come on.
No, I'm not saying be no sucker now. I'm not saying that.
Yes, sir.
Every time somebody, hey, you're forgiven, it's okay. No. We're not authorized to disconnect from anyone except that they are disconnected from God.
Yes, sir. Right. That's right. Go ahead.
But when people do things to you, you are justified in measuring your distance of your relationship.
Right.
I'm not disconnected from you totally, but I am a little distant.
Yes, sir.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Little children are curious. They love learning. What about old people? They think they know it all.
Yes, sir. Teach.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So, the word sound mind in Greek is the word sophronismos. That's where they get the word sophomore from.
Go ahead.
You know what that means? By the second year in high school, whatever a sound mind is, that's what a child's supposed to get from a school they go to.
Yes, sir.
I submit to you, in the American public food system,
Yes, sir.
I said it right.
Go ahead.
I don't care if you go all the way through a Ivy League school, you won't leave with a sound mind.
Right.
Look at what the definition of a sound mind is from the original Greek sophronismos, where sophomore comes from. It means morally correct. Well, Harvard just flunked that one, didn't they? IU. Your baby got dropped off in the school logo is a devil. You wonder why they come back crazy as hell. That's what the hell the school told you. We the red devils. We the blue devils. We the vipers. We the dragons. We the beasts. And then the baby come back and you want, come on.
That's right. Go ahead.
Sound mind means self-control.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, original man is the Asiatic, and what else? Big title.
Yes, sir.
That is potential.
Yes, sir. Right.
See, to be a God of something means that you know how to establish freedom, justice, equality, harmony, and balance in that environment. But before one can be God of the universe, you got to be the God of a planet. Before we can be the God of a planet, we got to be the God of a continent. Before we can be the God of a continent, we need to be the God of a country. Before we can be God of a country, we need to be the God of a state. God of a city. Before we God of the city, we got to be the God of the hood. Before we the God of the hood, we need to become the God of our home. And before we can become the God of our home and establish freedom, justice, and equality, harmony, and balance at our address, we got to become a God of ourselves. Self-control is a sound mind. Guess what else a sound mind is? Sound judgment. Wise thinking. Mental discipline. Good discernment. Y'all ready for this one? Controlled emotions.
Go ahead.
Right now, our emotions are controlling us.
That's right.
Look, Allah did not give man to emotions.
Right.
He gave emotions to us. We're not supposed to be ruled by them. We're supposed to rule them.
That's right. Go ahead.
And the secret to being able to control your emotions is not to get rid of all of them.
That's right.
You just don't ever smile or nothing.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
You don't go up, you don't go down. Yes, it's just regular. Walking little black AI.
Go ahead now.
Study Guide 18 does not say kill emotions.
That's right.
And get into the thinking of God.
That's right.
It says to what? Rise up. What do you mean? I mean, get from them controlling you and you start controlling them. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that the human being and our decision-making process is built like a rocket.
Come on. Right.
If you look at a rocket, you have the thrusters at the bottom or the back. But at the top is where the command center is, where all of the decisions are made based upon mathematical calculations of what cause and effect would bring about.
Yes, sir.
So we are supposed to be controlling our emotions. We're supposed to be in the driver's seat or the cockpit.
Yes, sir.
With our rational thought process, with actual facts, with mathematics, with a consideration of cause and effect. If I sow this today, what will it reap tomorrow? And then by computing that, we decide to then activate the thrust. Now, come on, passion. Come on, enthusiasm. Come on, excitement. And let's go get the goal. All praises be to Allah. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, imagine if the thrusters were in front and the cockpit was at the bottom. You be thinking down here, figuring it out, and as soon as you activate passion, it burn the whole rocket ship up. Is that what happens to us? Do you know a lot of our breakups in relationships with other people is not based on knowledge, but it's based on emotions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right.
Some of us don't even associate with certain people, not because of what we know about them, but because we feel something.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead now.
Well, what do you mean you don't mess with them? I don't mess with them. Well, what do you know about them
Come on now.
that causes you not to mess with them? It ain't really about what I know, but it's just a certain feeling I get.
Go ahead now. Go ahead.
When I'm around, just the vibe's not right.
Yeah, vibe. Go ahead now. That's what we said. Go ahead.
You better let your mind control your vibe.
All right. Teach now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Y'all still okay?
Yes, sir.
So, in this time period, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said we are living in a time where the mental strength that is required to survive is greater than it's ever been in the history of the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Teach.
Problem though at a time where we need the most mental strength, the least mental strength is cultivated.
Right.
Stanford did a study in the early 90s to measure the brain power usage of man in America. At the time of 1992, it was 3 to 8%. Now you do know what you don't use. So if look at this, if 92 to 97% is going unused, at a certain point it becomes lost power.
Yes, sir.
Now they revisited the study in 2018, it's less than 1%. So this is why it's so easy to drink, smoke something, pop a pill for an answer. It's so easy for us to succumb to temptation or weakness because we don't have mental strength.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
You go inside the grocery store, there's more wine than there is vegetables. Is this the truth? I pulled over the other day at a plaza trying to do something on the phone without driving and doing it.
Come on, brother. You teach us that.
Did y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
No, we got to stop all this texting and driving.
That's right. That's right.
You shouldn't be driving like this.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead. That's right.
Do you know that looking at your phone off and on while you drive impairs to the same level as being intoxicated?
That's right. Yes, sir.
So it's like drunk driving when you're looking at your phone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You say, but I gotta be able to see my GPS. That's GBS. Stop lying. Listen to it.
That's right. Go ahead.
What? I say something? Listen to it. It didn't show on the screen. You don't have to be looking at your phone the whole time.
That's right.
So I'm over there, pulled over, and there's a smoothie spot that sells bowls and healthy stuff. And 2 doors down, there's a liquor store. And I'm sitting out there in the parking lot doing it. And every time I look up, because naturally, whenever you're in your peripheral, I don't care where you are, people moving past, you're going to look up.
Right.
So every time I look up, I'm hoping they get them an acai bowl. But nobody's going to get an acai bowl. Everybody going to get them a bottle of something or a carton of something. And I'm talking about the amount of people. It was every 30 seconds probably. The middle of the day. In, out. And the people was messed up. You coming out of there with the bottle. Come get me. Couldn't even get in the car. Mental strength is at an all-time low.
Yes, sir.
Do you know, and we're gonna wrap it up for a second. There's a new age interpretation that a lot of the artists, I don't want to put their names on blast, but inshallah we get to talk to them, but they have a misperception based upon a misinterpretation of scripture.
Right.
This is the third so-called celebrity that I heard in an interview say that, quote, the devil cannot hear your thoughts, only what comes out of your mouth. So I don't worry about what I'm thinking so much, I just make sure I don't say it. Because if I say it, then the devil can use it against me. I got news for you. If you think it, you don't need a devil to use it against you. You're using it already against yourself. I did kind of like it a little bit, because that means the devil ain't a spirit. Because if he's a spirit that's just the opposite source of God, then like God is omnipotent and omnipresent, another spirit can be the same way. But by the fact you saying the devil can't listen to your thoughts, he only can hear your words that you speak, lets me know the devil got some ears. And he has to have inside of those ears, he has to have a drum that registers vibration and a brain that can interpret what you're saying. Which means the devil ain't some little pantyhose wearing skinny dude underneath the ground with a pitchfork. He ain't some dark force moving through space and time. The devil was and is a real live human being. Otherwise, you wouldn't be saying it. But the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that thoughts travel on the average of 24 billion miles per second, and they make their momentum or rotation around the 14 billion brain cells. Do you know anything moving in a circular motion produces one or two forces, centrifugal or centripetal force?
Yes, sir.
Centripetal force is when a thing spins and causes objects to repel away from. Centrifugal. Centripetal is when it spins and sucks things into it.
Right.
Y'all don't understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Did you see the tornadoes the other day? Centripetal force. They sucked in the cars and houses, broke them up and spit them out.
Right. Go ahead.
But the original Xbox, the original PS5,
Go ahead.
AKA the merry-go-round.
That's right. Come on, bro.
See, look, my young brothers don't even know what a merry-go-round is. Have you ever heard of a park before? Anybody? Young, a park. Grass. Swings. Yeah, do they still have these? They do. A few left.
Go ahead, Muhammad.
Notice in white neighborhoods, they always have a lot of parks. Notice in black neighborhoods, there's one or two. And it's dominated by many basketball courts. Theirs has trees, trails, flowers, benches, shelters, beauty. Ours has basketball courts.
That's right.
And that's it.
That's right. Wow.
Well, when we were growing up, there was a toy or a park equipment called a merry-go-round.
That's right.
You know the merry-go-round is the big metal thing that you get on and spin.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Every now and then, I'll just be honest, one of the brothers that didn't go to work,
That's right. Go ahead. That's right.
he didn't work, but he was strong. Little Bobby would come over there and he'd get that thing cranked up.
Oh, yes, sir.
And when you in the hood, you get to know who's the one that can get it cranked up. Like, oh, here comes Judy, get to the merry-go-round. And we would always say, well, come to the middle. Don't come into the middle. Don't be on the edge. You're going to fall off. Why? Because by the law of centrifugal force, when Judy get that thing going, that force will put you off of it.
That's right.
The mind is so powerful that both forces are operating at the same time inside of our mind. It ain't just about what you say, it's also about what we think. The scripture did not say in Proverbs 23:7, from the wisest man of the Bible, Solomon, as a man speaketh, so is he. It says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. See, thoughts began to attract people, situations, and circumstances that match the nature of your thoughts. And they began to repel people, situations, and circumstances opposite of what you think.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's why it says electromagnetic, chemical, and it's energy that can pull things in.
Come on. Go ahead now. Go ahead.
Come on now.
When Job started having all that bad stuff happen, you know what he said? He said, I fear that I have thought these things unto me.
Go ahead. Come on.
You know why? Because he was faithful, but he also was a worrier. He always was worrying. I wonder, will I lose my crops? I wonder, will my children stay in the faith? I wonder, will everything always be as it is? I wonder, will I always be in this favored position? And because he was a worrier, he was thinking these things. He didn't say for sure, but he said, I wonder, I fear that I have thought these things unto myself. Then on the flip side, you read about a man named Paul. He's in prison unjustly, and they wanted to know, why are you in here smiling? What the hell's wrong with you, man? You realize that you're in jail? Paul said, I think myself happy. See, there's certain things that you can think about in your mind that causes gratitude, appreciation. And when you start making your gratitude list in your mind, it'll begin to raise you up out of depression, anxiety, and fear, and stress, and you realize that you don't have it as bad as you might think you do. All praise is due to Allah. It's good not to speak it because words do magnify, words do amplify.
Yes, sir.
It's true, and they can increase the probability of something happening. If the Apostle James said the power of life and death is in the tongue.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
If words weren't powerful, why would it say speak those things which are not as if though they are? If they didn't have the authority to bring them into existence. See, words don't just describe reality. Words, by the law of substitution, can create reality. That's right. That's how God brought the universe into existence. He didn't hope and wish. He said, let there be light. He said, let the stars adorn the heaven. He said, let us make man. In the Quran, he says, be and it is. He speaks them into existence. But at the same time, you can't afford to say, I'm going to think weak, think negative, think corrupt. But as long as I don't say it, I'm going to be all right. No, you're not. There might not be an external devil that will be able to know what you're thinking if you don't say it. But the law of attraction will activate in you the law of action. And we'll begin to bring about those circumstances into our life. Are you all right? Now, on the flip side of it, you just can't think a bunch of holy, pure stuff either. And think that's going to make it work. In Philippians 4:8, he says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. It's not easy thinking positive thoughts in a negative world.
That's right. Yes, sir.
But that's the command.
Yes, sir.
As soon as stinking thinking shows up,
Yes, sir. Come on.
you got to get the truth out
That's right.
and get the funk out your head.
That's right. Yes, sir. Teach.
Ain't it something that whenever somebody's down and they've been down for a while, we say they just in a funk right now.
Right. Go ahead. Come on, sir.
It ain't because they didn't bathe,
That's right. Teach.
but it's because the mind's not clean.
Go ahead. Right. Yes, sir.
Think on those things which are pure. Look, it says, those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the God of peace shall be with you.
Yes, sir.
See, these three sentences, Paul moves us from just thinking on things to practicing what we're thinking.
Yes, sir.
It's not just good enough to think, we also have to do.
Right. Right.
So you can't just sit around and say that I'm following the law of attraction.
Right. Go ahead.
I will be a millionaire. How do you know? That's all I think on. What do? I think on it. Where? In this chair. What else do you do? That's it. And you sitting around waiting on somebody to come and do it for you. Now you better get up and go do it for yourself. Faith without works is dead. Mere belief accounts for nothing, except it is carried into practice. So we gotta put in some work. Are y'all all right? Yes, sir. On page 100 of the Torchlight for America by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he gives us another perception on where real mental power comes from. Because we would assume, because we always hold all that knowledge is power. If I got a lot of knowledge, I'll have power. Not necessarily so. The minister says, being righteous will give us peace of mind and power. When we act in accord with what is right, we can lay down at night with the peace of mind that comes from knowing we haven't done anything or anyone wrong. This is where the true and the real power of our mind comes from.
Come on now.
So being right is what makes us powerful.
Yes, sir.
Man, do y'all understand what that is? So that every day we moving in the world and we are given an opportunity to violate the rights of others.
Yes, sir.
Or we're given an opportunity to violate one of the laws of God. If we say, get thee behind me, say no, 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 and we decide to do just and honorable and treat people right. And whenever the temptation to gamble shows up, or to smoke it, or to drink it, or him or her, we say no. Do you know when we go to bed that night having a full day of moral victories, the next day we wake up with the same mind, but it's a more powerful version of that mind. And as days go by, at a certain time, we're going to be back into the Asiatic mind. And when you got that Asiatic mind, you the maker. You the owner. You the cream of the planet. God of the universe. Come on. Last but not least, the Asiatic mind is the original divine mind we had before we were kidnapped, robbed of our name, culture, language, religion, moral ways, folkways, norms, God Caucasianized and westernized by the enemy. The mind of the Asiatic mind was the mind that God could trust. That's why he gave us power and dominion over the fish of the sea, fowl of the air, and every creeping thing that crawls, even though we didn't create none of it. If he's given us that much authority over what he spent, listen to this, trillions of years manufacturing. The universe is not some lightweight feat. The Lord of the worlds worked hard and long to bring this harmonized system called universe into existence. And then he says, I trust your mind so much. You didn't create it, but I believe in you. You can manage it on my behalf. That's the Asiatic mind. The minister says the first stage in the beginning to form into the mind of God is we have to hear and obey. Jesus said, whatsoever the Father commandeth me to do, that is what I do. Whatsoever he biddeth me to say, that is what I speak. He operated from a humble posture. He said, I can of my own self what? Do nothing. Is that right? So humility and hearing and obeying the word of God. You don't got to understand. You just got to know he said it. And he's the best knower, so I will obey it. Then he says, listen to this scientific calculation of the formula for greatness. Whatever you submit to, you become like. The degree of your submission will determine the degree of your replication. If I am a 10% submitter to the God, I can expect to come out a 10% God. If I'm a half submitter to God, I can come out and expect to be a half God. But if I want to be a whole God, I got to submit and make my thoughts, my mind, my ways, my actions, every imagination of my heart has to be on him. And don't you know whatever you submit to, you will become? If we submit to God, that don't make you a slave. That don't make you somebody with a boring life. That don't make you somebody that don't get to have fun. It makes you into a God where your fun will be appropriate and proper and your joy will be sincere and real. Ye are all God's children of the Most High God. College can make an engineer. College can make a teacher. College can make a business manager or a lawyer. College might even make a doctor. But what college cannot make it, what the nation can, and that's a God. If you join on to this and you become a student of the supreme wisdom that God gave the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, you have enrolled as a student in the classroom of God. Who's the professor? God himself. All praises be to Allah. Once we become a student in the class of God, the teacher is God. The curriculum is supreme wisdom. Then you start learning what is the population of the original nation. Yes, sir. In the wilderness of North America and all over the planet Earth. See, it's a what? That's right. How much useful land is used by the original? Who is the colored man? Yes, see, you get the who's. That's right. You get the what's. And you get the how just being in the student enrollment. I'm telling you, whenever I was in high school, it was the who God was as black man. And who the devil was that completely shifted my whole perception of school. I got D's and F's all my years of school till I found the teachers. And when I went back to school as an FOI, I believed that I was the original man. I was the Asiatic black man. I am the maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, and the white man is the colored man. Yakub's bastard devil. He's the skunk of the planet Earth. I didn't come from them, they came from me. And when I showed up at school, I said, ain't no way in hell I'm going to let one of my children put in front of me a course or an exam or a test that I as the God can't master. And I went from D's and F's to straight A's. But that ain't the end of the enrollment. That's right. That just gets you your real proper pride. Yes, sir. See, it's not false pride. It's proper. Because you see yourself in the divine scheme of things, great to self, but nothing to the God. Does it make sense? Yes, sir. But after the who's and the what's and the when's that we learn. Come on now. Notice in student enrollment, there's no why's. But now in the lessons, why isn't the devil set on the planet? See the whys. That's the other part of growing into the mind of God. Come on now. We have to learn the proper who's and the what's and the when's and the how's about original man and the nature of God and the nature of the world. But then we got to make sure that we operate with a pure why, a motive. When you look up the definition of why in the dictionary, you're getting into reason, cause, and purpose. Yes, sir. Why do we do what we do? Why do we want what we want? You want to be in shape? Why? So you can show off your nakedness at the beach? You want to be successful? Why? So I can show all them niggas that didn't like me in school that I'm here. Come on. Go ahead, Muhammad. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, the more sincere your motives, the more sustained your actions. Your why power will really give you your willpower. So in the mix of growing back into the Asiatic mind, We have to get the proper who's, the what's, and the when's, and the how's. But we got to make sure that our why is pure. Yes, and if our why is right, and we have the proper who, the what, the when, and the how operating in our mind, the Asiatic mind will be back. And when it comes back, we come back. And where it's back for us, the cream always rises to the top. Thank you for listening. I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. All praise I do to Allah. All praise I do to Allah. Thank you.
You can tell, COINTEL, my clique has never failed. My boat has never sunk, my ship has never sailed. My hope is never shaken, my spirit is never broken. My legs are never open, my words will always be quoted. My vision is focused. Tell the POTUS I don't trust him, he'll never be noticed. I think it's time that I put you all on notice. I'm the one, David Ruffin, I'll never be Otis. If I did it, then it better work. The music industry hates me cause I'll never twerk. I'm in a different world, each verse brings the metaverse. Optometrist, I change vision like the Oculus. Watch me fly over Metropolis. Tell all the populace, rise from sarcophagus. No hypothesis, I see apocalypse. Muhammad's disciple speaks like a prophetess. We got him like we got him like, yeah. We got him like. Tell the people we coming through and we got them like. It's Imam from the west, coming strong, Cali's best. We got them like. Tell the people we coming through and we got them like.
See, I done came from the bottom. I usually choose peace, today we choose violence. And they don't really know what to do, and I'ma keep banging the truth. Lyrically impeccable, irrepressible spectacle. I could turn a vegetable into an intellectual. My ancestors celestial, go beyond the skeleton. Fact checking these rappers, none of these credible. If it don't apply to the fly, it's a hypothetical. It's just the type of that you kicking is unacceptable. If you're not helping me grow, I'm just not available. I want the whole left side of a decimal, incredible. I ain't even hardly reached my pinnacle. Jump in the cypher and turn it into a festival. Bang on the game till the game need medical. I'ma keep grinding till it's unpreventable. Middle finger, you haters, but that'll be unprofessional. We are just not compatible. I am too undetectable. Put the pedal, the metal hitting your mental. My pen penetrating your sensory. You looking terrible. Whoa, whoa, all I see is green light bulbs. East New York, Brooklyn, let it go. My light might be an iPhone. Third eye, I see the rival. See my arrival.
We got him like. We got him like. Yeah. We got him like. Tell the people we coming through and we got him like.
It's that Nick from the East New York. We run the streets.
We got him like. Tell the people we coming through and we got him like.
You know. We the creme de la creme. They give us accolades, but that's God working through us. We send praises up to Him. Brotherhood tight, sisterhood tight, nation building, team players. We all shooting in the gym. Got the guys with me, got the FOI with me. If we gotta go to war, then we fighting to the death. Not a betting man, but if I was and you ask me who I put my money on, you know I'm putting it on them. Come through, they gotta respect, they gotta tip they hat. Don't disrespect our women, word bond, we'll kill for that. In the field, working with bullets, fly like we in Iraq. I do this for the family, I rap, but this way deeper than rap. Stand up, solid soldiers with me, we don't back though. I don't deal with milk toast brothers like I'm lactose. Every time I come in first, they act like they was rooting for me. Whole time I know they wanted me to come in last though. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulallah. If it wasn't for you, I know I wouldn't have made it through Allah. Grant me protection on this mission that I pursue Allah. I know with you behind me, there ain't nothing that I can't do Allah. You know.
We got him like. We got him like. Yeah. We got him like. Tell the people we coming through and we got him like.
It's GC from the shop. FOI till I die.
We got him like. Tell the people we coming through and we got him like. It's Imam.